Welcome into another edition of the Braves Central Podcast. Barrett, Sallee, Chris Dimino with you. Don't forget to like, share, all of that stuff. Leave a review. We'd love to know your feedback on the Braves Central Podcast. And Chris, let's first go back to last night, and I guess the two-game set in Washington, but specifically last night. A.J. Smith-Shawver had his worst start in a long time, maybe ever. The Braves do find a way to claw back into it, but can't get the job done late in the 10th inning. Look, my personal belief, the Braves had no business being in that game because of how A.J. pitched. The bullpen from that point on through the 9th inning was fantastic. Had it been the regular Braves bullpen we're kind of accustomed to, that game would have gotten very sideways. And look, this is an average team. We all know that. And they lose games like this. And that's exactly what happened.
9-21 and 9-12, in one-run games. That's 21 one-run games. That's more than anybody in baseball. You were 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position last night. They were 1 for 6, and they still put up 8 runs. So there's a lot of things that went wrong last night. You lose 2 in Washington. You get ready now. Now, you want the good news? San Diego's lost 6 in a row. And,
I do like that.
Yeah, they've been, well, be careful with that. Because quite honestly, they got a couple of starters who are sub-3 ERA guys, and the guy that they got to be maybe the frontline guy along with Yu Darvish is struggling. Dylan Cease has not been, but we all certainly know on Sunday he has an opportunity to flip a much better game than he's been this year. So you're going to get Michael King tonight. I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about their problems, but they've had them, and they really got beat up this week. But you know what they still are? An above 500 team. You know what they are? A team that's got a better record than the Atlanta Braves.
Better than the Braves.
Yeah, as you wake up this morning, look, here's the reality, and I believe this, and I don't believe there's anybody in the building across the street, and the building across the street is Truist Park. I'm in a studio. Truist Park is right over there. There's nobody in that building who's not saying or thinking what I'm about to say. There are 20 teams that have more wins than the Braves, and the Los Angeles Angels have the same exact record as you at 24 and 25. So at 24 and 25, that's you, that's them. Doesn't mean that you aren't more talented. It just means you haven't played better baseball with what's been thrown at you. Who you play the day you play them, who your starting pitcher is, who their starting pitcher is. None of that matters. We're 49 games in, and here's my point. Philadelphia just beat Colorado up this week. And if you want to say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, Philadelphia's on a roll now. And a roll means you beat everybody that's in front of you, including the teams you're supposed to beat. They take 4 in Colorado. We lose 2 in Washington. So if you want to sort of try to figure out what this is not about 0-7 anymore. It's not. I'm tired of it. People over there are tired of it. I'm telling you they're tired of it. That's not why you're 24 and 25. 0-7 was so long ago. You're 24 and 25 because you're 9-12 in one-run games. You play too many of them. And last night you had another moment where you got run out of an inning because you get thrown out by 22 feet at home plate. Instead of having second and third and 1 out, Marcell Ozuna up, you don't have that. And that's how you end up losing a baseball game, or it's at least in part how you lose a baseball game. There's nobody over there who's not saying the same exact thing. This is not 0-7. You're 50 games into the season now. If you're holding on to 0-7, let it go. If this idea that Ronald Acuña is going to give you an infusion of excitement, that's great. That's an intangible. I need a tangible. I don't need him to infuse me with excitement. Unfortunately, I need him to come in and play probably better baseball like Strider's last start, where we want to judge it on a bar that's this high because of the talent they have. But the reality is they might not be at this level of talent right now. That's Strider and Ronald Acuña. So if I'm supposed to be a high five as I go in the building and I see him, lead off a game, that's great. I don't mind that at all. Friday night, social, San Diego struggling. Let's just figure out a way to get on a little bit of a roll. But then he has to play at a level that's good enough to help this team win baseball games.
Well, going back to, I was actually fine with Tui sending Austin in the 9th inning, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. One, I'd rather have the lead in the 9th inning regardless, but 2, yes, second and third with 1 out is certainly a spot you could succeed in, but with the Braves' struggles with runners in scoring position, coupled with the fact that, Ozuna's up, but then Drake Baldwin had a bad game. Drake Baldwin was not playing well in that game yesterday. So I was fine with Tui sending Austin. Yes, the ball beat him by a long way. He still almost got under the tag, and those were two perfect throws.
No doubt about it. I'm a believer. Send him. If it takes a relay throw and it's 2 throws to get a guy out, you can't be out by that much. And almost getting in is not the same as actually getting under a tag or having a catcher actually bobble a baseball because, he couldn't get a grip on a bounce. I don't care. I'm going to tell you why I disagree completely. They might have walked Marcell Ozuna to get to Baldwin. Baldwin hit the ball hard last night, but he didn't have anything really to show for it. So I'll take that away. I'm not really a hard hit ball, go get him next time guy, but I think Drake Baldwin would have been up with the bases loaded. I think they would have walked Ozuna. Then I've got bases loaded, one out. Now I'm a wild pitch away, a walk away from having the lead that you just talked about that you wanted. You can't get thrown out by 60 feet in totality 2 times in a week. It happened to Verdugo in Boston, and it happened last night. And you can't run yourself into that. I know it took 2 really good throws, but you know what they did? Made 2 really good throws.
They made 2 of them.
And what's crazy about that is we talked about it this whole week. Dave Martinez was talking about this team, the Nationals, learning on the fly. They're not good enough at certain aspects of the game. They're young. They've made mistakes. They have base running mistakes. Well, last night they made the play. The play is off the wall, great relay throw, great throw to home plate. They did it. That's a play they made. We didn't. 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and they still scored 8 runs. We were 4 for 13, which means you just left stuff all over the place last night, and you lost another 1-run game. And I'm telling you, if anybody thinks, and I was just told, you came in really hot and harsh. There's nobody. No. Listen, I know hot and harsh for just trying to make. I'm not a shock jock. I'm not I'm not that. I've never been that, really. I'm telling you that everything I know and everything I'm saying today, everybody in that building knows. Everybody associated with that team knows. 24 and 25 is unacceptable. I don't care about Strider being out. Don't care about Acuna being out. Don't care about 0-7. If you're still talking about 0-7, the Padres have lost 6 in a row. I think they're still 6 games over 500. Ask me how that happened. Oh, the math of it. They built up enough cushion to lose 6 in a row to still be 6 games over 500. That means that they did more over the course of 50 or so games than the Braves had. And Ronald Acuña coming back is a good thing, no doubt about it. I'm going to have, like Strider, if my expectation is here, I'm going to take it down a notch. I just need them to win baseball games. He gives you a better opportunity to win. I hope it starts as quickly as tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, his return is going to give juice to that team. There's no doubt about it. Matt Olson was asked about that last night. And look, I think everybody's excited, but Matt, you could tell, he's a pretty soft-spoken guy. You could tell there was a little bit different in his voice. And maybe that was his success as well. But with Ronald coming back, you're right. I think the expectations for Spencer Strider around Braves country when he came back the second time were way too high. I mean, we're talking about a guy who had pitched 3 meaningful games in almost 2 years. The velo was down. The velo will come back. I think there was the expectation was too high. For Ronald Acuña, we cannot get into that mindset. Now, if he goes out there and he drops a bomb in his first at-bat and the crowd goes nuts at Truist Park, great, phenomenal. If he goes 2 for 4 with a double and a single and knocks in 2, fine. I don't really care. I want him to provide what he's provided for his career, and that's a spark. It doesn't have to be him that has those plays, that puts up those stats. He just has to provide a little something to this offense, and I think he can do that. But when you look at what he can actually provide, let's just say he comes back at, 80% right now of what Ronald used to be. That's still a top 20 ball player in the league.
Right.
And if you combine that with what Matt Olson's been doing in the 3 spot, I mean, that completely changes the dynamic of this offense.
Well, look, if he's good enough and he offers protection for the bottom of the lineup, I get an extra advantage with just his presence. I talked to guys over the years, when your best player is a little bit banged up, but he says, I'll stand there with a bat in my hand for 4 ABs, you help by just being there. You extend the lineup by being there. The world doesn't need to know that you don't have it today. You just go play the game because it changes your lineup, changes the way that people have to pitch to you. I get all that stuff. If he's 2 for 4 and the Braves lose tonight, if you want to make 2 for 4 the headline, go ahead. But that would mean that you just lost to a team who maybe had their worst week of baseball that they've had in the last. Again, I told you this. They lost in a 5-game fashion. That they hadn't lost in that 5-game fashion since 1969, their inaugural year, with the first 5 franchise losses. You go from 1969 to 2025, and there have been good Padres teams. There have been bad Padres teams. They had a 5-game stretch this week and another loss last night in extra innings. So think about it. Ronald goes 2 for 4. Am I supposed to be happy he's 2 for 4? Sure. I go get him. But if you lose and you snap their 6-game losing streak and you're on a 3-game losing streak yourself, then to me the headline is the winner or the loss. It's not Ronald Acuña. Ronald Acuña goes 2 for 4, they win the game. Ronald Acuña goes 0 for 4 and they win the game. And somebody wants to tell me having Ronnie back was great. We felt it a little bit tonight. He protected somebody. The bottom of the lineup comes up with a double because they're just trying to make sure they don't face Ronald Acuña late in the game. All good. It's wins and losses now. Like I'm tired of 50 games in trying to figure out what the moral victories are. I'm tired of hearing about, as I said, 0-7. The Minnesota Twins won 13 in a row. The Cardinals won 9 in a row. Phillies are on a 7. I think it's 7 in a row right now.
Yeah.
I can tell you the teams that have been on streaks. The Angels are a better baseball team right now if you just look at this past week because they've won games more than you and you've lost games. I'm not telling you the Angels are more talented. I am telling you they're playing better baseball based upon, do we beat our opponent tonight? They're better this week than the Atlanta Braves have been at any point this year. Roll that around your head. Not only do they have the same record, but the Angels, if your job is, and it is your job, to win the baseball game that night, they've been a better baseball team this week than the Atlanta Braves have been in any week this year. So, again, let's not go crazy because it's 50 games in, but let's not also offer up it was the 0-7 start. That's the reason why we are. No, the reason why you are is you just lost 2 in Washington. You lost a game in Boston that you certainly could have won. That was a blown baseball game. And now it starts to add up, and you go, oh, yeah. There's a reality for me that I don't think a lot of people are actually seeing. That's all. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's my reality. But my reality is there are some things that have to stop being talked about. It's time to just play better baseball. Austin Riley, the strikeouts have started to pile up. The double plays are starting to pile up. And if Matt Olson gets hot and you don't win baseball games, I'm glad he's hitting better. I just got to win baseball games at this point. If I see up on the board, Matt Olson, and I will tonight, Matt Olson in his last 5 games is hitting 384, whatever the hell it is. I'm going to go, yeah, how many did we win? That's where I'm at. I want him to be better, I want him to get on a roll. But for me, it's about wins and losses now. We're at the point where it's not about any moral victories.
I think for Ronald, a big part of his success will be if Austin Riley turns this around because he has not been good at all. And, he struck out with the bases loaded last night. And I went back and looked at some of his split stats. He's actually been pretty good with runners in scoring position, just not with the bases loaded. It's that specific issue. So with him scuffling a little bit, that does make me wonder how much of a threat the Padres will view Ronald Acuña Jr. I think they have to treat him like the Ronald Acuña Jr. that we all have known and seen for a long time. Mostly, and not mostly, but in part because of Austin Riley struggled in the 2 spot.
I don't know what drastic is in terms of lineup changes. I don't know what drastic is at this point. Should Austin Riley hit second tonight? I don't know. Maybe that's the chance with Ronald back hitting leadoff. Maybe Austin now in a 2-hole makes sense. But the way he swung the bat at times, I wonder if not dropping him a little bit might not make a change. Maybe you move somebody else up. I don't know if it's Stuart Fairchild, or I guess he won't be playing. Maybe it's Eli White. Maybe it's Nick Allen. I don't know what you want to do. I think Austin Riley's going to hit second tonight because they want that to be the lineup going forward. We'll see. I don't think I would do it tonight, but if it doesn't go well tonight, I do expect that you might see a little bit of a change in the 2-hole.
You want me to make a bold prediction about the lineup? Okay, Michael Harris will be the permanent 9th hitter by a week and a half from now.
Yeah,
a week and a half from
Ronald's
now.
Back. I don't even know if I'd wait that long. I kept asking. I wouldn't hit him 8th. I'd hit him 9th. He was comfortable in the 9th hole. But maybe it's supposed to happen as early as tonight with Ronald back.
Maybe.
I just don't understand him hitting 8th. I don't.
It doesn't make sense.
I just don't know what it was. He hit 9th. Maybe with Ronald back, maybe you hit him 9th, and everybody says he's too valuable a bat to hit 9th. Well, at times he is, and at times he's not. Maybe I'm trying to capture a little bit of that magic when he was in the 9-hole. I'll try anything at this point because I don't know if you know, we're still 1 game under 500. For all the fanfare,
that is true.
And for all the want to get to 500, that's the other thing I'm sick of. I'm tired of it. Oh, we got to get to 500. Okay, is that the bar? Because the Angels just won 7 in a row. The Twins won 13 in a row. Phillies have won 7 in a row. St. Louis won 9 in a row. Why are we talking about getting to 500? Everybody says, well, you can't go over 500 unless you get to 500. Yeah, but I'm tired of the story for the last 4 weeks being, Oh, if we only get to. Well, you've been there. You've been a game over. What did it do for you? I know what it did for you. You know,
gave you another loss.
Yeah, you're one game under. So, again, maybe I'm the asshole. I'll take that hit. I'm not kidding. Maybe it's a me problem. Maybe I'm cranky. Maybe I got 7 people at my house right now that, I hardly know, and that's a true story. There's 7 people crashing at my house all weekend. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's me. I'm going to go with the fact that there's nobody in that building that knows anything about baseball that is not thinking, feeling, or saying everything that I just said today.
I don't doubt that for 1 second. But now things can change. Not to say they will, but with Acuna back, you sort of have a different dynamic. We'll see if he is the spark that gets the Braves on one of those 6, 7, 8 game winning streaks in the near future, because I think they have that in them. I used to think it was not even an option that they did, but at this point,
have they won 5 in a row this year? My guess is no.
No.
Have they won 4 in a row?
Maybe. No.
Maybe. I don't know. Go look at your book tonight, and I'll go look at mine. And then when we get together tonight, because I don't have the time today. I quite honestly don't have the patience. I'd like to find out what their longest winning streak is. And again, if 20 teams have more wins than you, and they do, 20 of 30 have more wins than you, maybe I want to look at what's your longest streak, and I go, well, the Angels aren't better. Their streak is more. St. Louis, I don't think was supposed to be better. Their streak is more. Minnesota wasn't supposed to be better. Their streak might be 3 times as long as anything you've done. And maybe I got to look at it that way to go, wait, they have not done what lessers have done at some point during the season, which is why you sit 1 game under 500.
Well, we'll see what happens this weekend against San Diego. We will talk to Ronald Acuña Jr. before the game today, so we'll have all of that sound for you on the Ford Leadoff Show coming your way on the Braves Radio Network at 6 p.m. Friday night. You'll get Chris Sale going for the Braves, so certainly that is a boost as well, because he's been obviously a lot better over the last month or so. He's Chris Dimino. I'm Barrett Sallee. This is the Braves Central Podcast. Please don't forget to write, review, share, all of that stuff. You might know how to do the podcast thing, the YouTube thing, the Apple thing, whatever, but your neighbor might not. So please share this show and write a review. That obviously helps with all of the algorithms out there on the internet to get podcasts out there. We will talk to you on Monday. Hopefully it'll be a happy Braves Central podcast. Hopefully it will include at least 2 and possibly 3 wins. We'll see y'all then.